G'day, next year there will be 4 British drivers on the F1 grid, with Oliver Bearman being the latest to be announced. Yesterday, Media Day at the British Grand Prix, 9 a.m, and I get this message: Oliver Bearman, confirmed, Haas driver for 2025. Now, I've been hearing this for a long time now. In fact, on the Wednesday night, I got a text message from a friend of mine saying, "Are you hearing that Oliver's going to be confirmed tomorrow?" So I popped in a quick message to one of his very close crew saying, should we expect some big news tomorrow? Got the response back, "You're not far off." And then I sent Oliver a big note saying, hey, congratulations, here's some big news. And he sent me back a couple of thumbs up. So I figured it was going to happen. Didn't know exactly when, but on the 4th of July for an American F1 team. Nice touch. At about 10, there was a press conference, so I popped in to have a listen to that and learnt a lot. Ollie, in fact, got confirmation Sunday night of the Austrian Grand Prix, which was a pretty lousy day for him. He didn't finish that race, but that was quickly forgotten when he got that call. What number will he be racing under? 87. Is that the highest? Yeah, Valtteri's 77. Originally, he raced under 38 in Saudi for that very impressive turnout when he jumped into Carlos Sainz's car, but he's picked 87. Ollie, in fact, was also seen on track in the Haas car in a number 50, so he has a number of numbers under his belt. And his father raced under that name as well. This is his dad here, David. I've been talking to David for some time about a collaboration for a signed print because, as you know, he drove that Ferrari in his very first race in Saudi Arabia, and the good news is that is out now. You can get online right now at kimillman.com and get one of these magnificent prints, hand-signed and numbered by Ollie Bearman. Now, this will be something to collect in years to come if he goes the same way as one of the other Ferrari debutants, Charles Leclerc. You remember that Ferrari put him in the Sauber for a year, and then the next year, bang, straight over to Ferrari. Now, from my side of things, I couldn't believe the timing of this collab because we'll be raising some money for the Motor Neuron Disease Association, and it was planned for us to announce this collaboration today, and that was decided a week or so ago. And then bang, we get this announcement on the same day. So it turned out to be gold, and if you want one of those prints, remember to head to kimillman.com, go to the shop, there's a link in the description below too, and make sure you grab one of those prints. They're all hand-signed and hand-numbered. Now, Ollie has been a member of the Ferrari Academy for some time now, and in the press conference he did say that that was a major part of him being fast-tracked through the system because his journey has been quite rapid. And the other point is that Lewis is getting to the end of his career, and at some point he will step down. Will that leave a hole for Ferrari to bring Oliver into that seat? Well, he's a very good chance, isn't he? Let's go back to his dad, David. He's been to almost all races. His mum hardly been to any. In fact, look at Dad up here on the balcony overlooking that press conference yesterday. Big beaming grin on his face, and he'd been fielding calls for most of the morning when I saw him out in the paddock. What about the team? You're probably wondering, when do they actually get told of this sort of thing? Because they can't get told too early. Leaks happen. Well, they were told 10 minutes prior to the announcement. But of course, until a piece of paperwork is signed, anything can happen. One of the questions asked by the journos yesterday, and there were a lot of them, was, has Ferrari told you of their expectations? He said not specifically, but his goal is to improve race by race, and progression, he said, was the key. Where will he be based was another question asked. All he could say yesterday was that it would be less time spent in Italy, which is where he's based now. On the subject of media training, he admitted he'd never had any formal media training, but was very careful in what he said because he knew that any remark could be taken as the headline for a story. Let's go back to the day this picture was taken in Saudi Arabia. This is the one that you can buy hand-signed and numbered by Ollie. Of that day, he said that he didn't have much time to react because he got the announcement so late in the piece. He pretty much had to get straight to the track to fulfill the commitment. But he did say, when asked if Carlos had spoken to him that weekend, yes, briefly. He was conversing with the engineers during the race and was happy for Ollie post-race. So by the time you watch this video, he will have competed in another FP1 session. And then on Wednesday here in Silverstone, he'll be doing a tyre test for the team in the car. He was asked yesterday, who is the next Ollie Bearman? To which, after a little thought, Dino Beganovic, who is an F3 driver. He was also asked if any of the current F1 drivers had contacted him. He said at that point, no, but he did have a list a mile long of people who had tried to contact him, but of course he was at the track doing his commitments for the announcement. I think it'll be very interesting to watch his career. I like the kid. I think he's amazing. He's funny, he's approachable, and can clearly drive. Later in the morning, I did see him and his dad walking through the paddock with a Haas shirt on but a Ferrari cap. And he saw me taking photos, but very quickly ripped the cap off, and then he couldn't hide the smile on his face as he and his dad kept walking. Was there luck involved in Ollie getting this gig? Yeah, well, there's luck involved in life. Certainly, Carlos's misfortune in Saudi was very much Ollie's fortune because of the fact that he got to demonstrate just how cool he was in that car. He had a lot of pressure on him. He had very little time to adjust, to plan. He was thrown in at the deep end and shone. This leaves us with some other big junior names waiting their chance, the likes of Jack Doohan, Kimi Antonelli, Liam Lawson. Liam was in the same situation as Ollie. He got the chance to prove himself, but not in one race, but in 5 races when Daniel Ricciardo broke his wrist. He's been more than patient and is now at a point where I think he might be starting to look around to other teams if he doesn't get the nod very quickly about that Daniel Ricciardo seat. Jack Doohan, well, he's also hanging out on an announcement with Alpine, but of course there's some chat that Carlos Sainz might end up at Alpine, but really until Carlos makes that decision, I imagine Alpine will just have to sit. They know that Jack's not probably going to go anywhere else, so they have the luxury of time on their side. The timing of yesterday's announcement with the 4th of July for the American connection and being at Silverstone, which would effectively be Ollie's home race, was a nice touch by the team. Just flicking back through my images of Ollie, this was the very first picture I took of him in September of 2022. He was 17 at the time. Of course, F1 brings in drivers all the time. There's no guarantee that any of them will make it to the very top step of the podium. Of course, very few do. Is Oliver going to make it there? Is he going to be a World Drivers' Champion? Well, he's certainly been given a remarkable start. He's young, he's got the right support behind him, and he could end up driving for Ferrari. It's an exciting time for the youngster, and I certainly hope that he does well. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe. And remember to head to kimillman.com to pick up one of those Ollie Bearman signed prints. You never know, he could be another Ayrton Senna, and you'll have something on your wall that could be immensely valuable in years to come. Thanks for watching, and stay passionate. All the time, and there's no guarantee.
Unknown caller.